Welcome to the Get Sculpted podcast. We're your hosts, Tiana,
Jordana,
and Marilyn.
This podcast is all about cutting through the noise and giving you the real deal on fat loss, muscle building, and what it really takes to build your 2.0 sculpted self, inside and out. Our motto is to work smarter, not harder. We'll break down science-based and actionable strategies to optimize your metabolism, ditch the diets, and create a sustainable, fit, and healthy lifestyle that actually works for you. So if you're ready to get stronger, not just skinnier, and embrace a body you love, hit that subscribe button and let's get sculpted. Hello and welcome back to the Get Sculpted pod, a topic we're all excited about, and that is your circle, those you align yourself with. We're pretty dang proud of our Get Sculpted circle. So I think it's safe to say we know a thing or two about why the right environment is going to create that success. So we're going to talk about how to create the right circle to create the right results. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about why it's so important to align yourself with the right people. If you align yourself with people who don't care about their health, who are always complaining about their situation but doing nothing to change it, who look at your habits and tell you you're too obsessed, or this is becoming something that's taking up too much of your time, or they just have their opinions, you will slow down. You will become a product of your environment, for better or worse. So whether you like it or not, the people you're surrounding yourself with right now are shaping the you that you're becoming. They're either feeding your 1.0 or they're going to help you get to your 2.0. So if you want to become the fittest and strongest version of yourself, the very best version of yourself, then it is so important for you to surround yourself with women who just get it. And I'm sure we've all heard the analogy that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's right.
So if you look around at who those people are they pulling you forward or are they holding you back? Here, we're going to break down what it actually means to have a supportive circle, how to actually create and find that supportive circle for yourself if you don't have one right now, and how we have seen firsthand how it really changes lives, our own lives and our clients as well. Jord, I would love if you could kick it off and share with us on the flip side of things, how the wrong circle is going to drain you.
Yeah, I think that a lot of women don't always know when they're surrounded by the wrong people anymore. I think that when you're growing up and you have circles of friends or even family members or colleagues, this is just who's around you. And you don't really think twice about the fact that you have control over that circle of influence and that they can either help or hinder the way that you are going to think, perceive the world, think about yourself, and really like what kind of effort you put towards the goals that you have. And so I just want to talk about a few of the things that give you the clues and the hints to say, maybe we need a glow up here. Maybe I need to explore my horizons and start to find people that are going to support me in the way that I need to be supported. And that can be a really hard thing because it can be really emotional because you can still love and hang out with somebody. You can still want them in your life, but their role and how they've played that role in your life historically might need to evolve a little bit so that you can evolve and grow into the best person that you're meant to be. So some things to watch out for. If you're around people that are constantly negative, complaining, people who talk about other people and gossip, they bring the energy down and it takes away from the atmosphere of creating and elevating. And I find that that kind of talk, we've all been around it, right? And you can very easily get sucked in and it takes you away from your best self. Even if you're trying to be her, it makes it that much harder to just be surrounded by that train of thought all the time. You're going to start to search out the negatives, just like that person who's feeding you the negatives that they're seeing all the time. So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is friends or people in your life that are just like trying to veer you off your path in order for you to meet them on theirs.
Crabs in the bucket.
Yes, this is so dangerous. If like you make a choice to stop drinking and it's that group of friends or that family members like, oh, like live a little. You were so much more fun when you drank. Well, that's not helpful. Like, what if that was a really bad habit for you? What if that
was a trigger of some kind, right?
Yes, or that created negative impacts in your life. Like, this is not okay. And we've made it okay. We've created it as acceptable behavior in our society that we can allow and tolerate for that. And I don't think it's okay.
No, I don't either.
What were you going to say, T?
I was going to add, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but this could be your partner.
It could be.
I would love to know your guys' thoughts on that, because that's a really hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And I know it's really difficult helping someone navigate this, to be honest, when with the drinking, with the lifestyle, when you want to better yourself, but the person you're spending the most time with and really sharing your life with is on a different page. So, I mean, I don't know if I even have an answer for that, more so that just acknowledging that it does make the journey more challenging, and that, you know, I want these people to feel seen. So I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that in particular.
Yeah, I do. So in the very early days of exploring my health and fitness, so 11, 12 years ago now, I used to have my meals, everything was ready. And then Joey's literally the most supportive, loving partner of life. I am here doing this. Everything in my life is the way it is because we are on the same page. But in this one particular thing, when it came to nutrition, he would have everything that we would have, but then he'd have all these other extras. So I specifically remember being like a week away from my very first photo shoot ever. And I'm like nervous as all heck. And he's like standing there in the kitchen being like eating a triple decker like Nutella sandwich, being like,
I could go for that right now.
And I'm just looking at him like, that is so not helpful. So I think this is like a very small, silly example, but when it's amplified to one partner's trying to get healthy and another partner's bringing home takeout and wings and McDonald's and throwing food in your face and being like, oh, just live a little. Like, who cares what your coach said? Like, we're on date night. Like, have that glass of wine. Or they bring home like your favorite chocolate bar thinking that they're being sweet because you love that thing. They're not being helpful and they're not being supportive. And either the partner's going to eventually join in with you or they're not.
Yes.
But you have to live your truth. You have to do what's right for you because nobody lives in your body but you. And your relationship can still be moving forward and making progress, and you can still be aligned on everything else. You just won't be eating the same thing when you go out to dinner.
Yeah. And you know what? My therapist gave me a really good kind of food for thought, pardon the pun. She just said flat out, not everyone, whether it's your partner, your friends, the people around you, they are not on the same journey as you. Full stop. And we've talked about, you know, things like boundaries before and just kind of locking into that 2.0 version of yourself. And the reality is, it doesn't have to be a point of friction. It doesn't mean you have to like argue with your partner or your spouse, but you just have to remind yourself they are not on the same journey as I am. And sometimes I am going to have to make the tough call to be like, no, I'm not going to have that bag of chips with you or that triple decker Nutella sandwich. And let's be honest, like, do we wish that our partners or our friends, again, all the people in our life would be incredibly supportive? I think we just have to surrender to the fact that they're not. And we have to pull up our big girl pants and say, this is something that I want. And that's more important than the quick hit of having that chip or that sandwich.
Or feeling like you're fitting in, quote unquote, because you're doing what all the girls are doing. If your tradition was going out for girls' night and you order a couple bottles of wine and you order appetizers and everybody has some drinks and fun and you don't even think about it, and then you go on to the next thing of the night, your definition of fun might evolve.
That's right. You want to evolve as a person, though, right? That's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to stay the same.
Not everyone evolves with you.
Precisely.
Yes. And so if you are feeling isolation or feeling misunderstood, that will at one point make consistency feel a little bit more challenging for you because you do feel alone in the journey. But that is the clue that's telling you you need to find the right circle that's going to call you higher. And I think that's the perfect segue, Mar.
Yes, that's this next part that we want to talk about. I think this is so important. How having the right circle will call you higher, because if you want to grow, you cannot surround yourself with people who are more committed to your comfort than they are to your reaching your potential. And I can tell you in my own life, this has been a game changer. It totally changed when I started surrounding myself with women who actually challenged me to rise, because there's nothing more powerful. Like when you're surrounded by women who aren't going to coddle you and be comfortable with just complacency, they're going to call you to something more. And it doesn't just happen with your fitness. When you are with a group of women who call you to be higher, it starts to trickle into all the areas of your life. But specifically, when it comes to your health and fitness, because that is what this podcast is all about, when you're in the right circle, when you are with women who are choosing growth, doing things like lifting weights and prepping their meals, prioritizing rest, all that stuff, you start to believe that you can do it too. And they become some of your greatest sources of inspiration, right? Their momentum is contagious because their energy rubs off on you and you feel yourself wanting to level up just because you're with them. And when you're in a circle of women like that, the things you normalize will change.
Yes.
So in this environment, choices like focusing on nutrition and training and all of those things and not drinking alcohol, they no longer seem extreme or out of the ordinary. Nobody's saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're not drinking tonight.
Can't believe you're eating breakfast.
Right. I know, right? I can't believe you're not starting your day with coffee and no food. These women are going to see these habits as necessary and not completely outlandish. They're going to understand that this improves the quality of your life. And we talked about that. When you're in an environment where that is not the norm, you will often be called the obsessive one or be criticized about your choices because they just don't understand. So the right circle of people is going to model the life that you want to align yourself with. And if I can just share a personal anecdote here, when I was teaching, and it was a heavy environment, and I want to say this with love because I respect teachers tremendously, of course, and I worked with some of the most incredible teachers there are. But the reality is education's demanding, like a lot of other jobs. It's overwhelming. So when you're in a job where a system feels broken, it's very easy to get stuck in a cycle of stress and venting. Like you're just constantly venting to get through the day. And again, I get it. It is important to talk about what you're going through and be supported by other people who understand. However, and this is a big however, it's that kind of energy that can also keep you stuck. So when I was in that environment, I stopped moving my body. I was exhausted all the time. And I really wasn't prioritizing myself because it was just like, let me get through the day. I don't even give a crap about anything else because I was around other people who were just surviving. But everything changed when I started connecting with women who were on this journey that I wanted to be on and level up to. And guess what? Women like, dun, da, 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 the two of you. Because I saw the both of you showing up when things were hard. And again, the audience doesn't necessarily need to know the ins and outs of our lives, but I know what you girls have gone through and it's been hard and it's been messy, but you chose to grow instead of letting it hold you back. And that gave me the spark to say, you know what? I want more for myself. And that's actually what led me to make one of the biggest decisions, which was leaving teaching and coming full-time into coaching, because I was like, I feel strong in my body. I feel clear in my purpose. And that's the power of what the right circle can do. And I want all women to understand that.
I love that. I would love to add an example about the corporate space because sometimes when we're in our job, it feels like an obligation, not a choice, to show up to certain things.
Oh, yes.
And I think especially when they're outside of working hours, like for those that are climbing the corporate ladder, or if you need to be with clients for an extended period of time, either you're traveling with them for work, visiting other cities, or you're entertaining them because you're going to like the box and taking them to a game or having dinner together or experiencing what your company does, but in society, sometimes you have to show up to things and you are working, but that is an expectation to show up and you're ending up needing to conform to that environment. That's sort of the expectation. And what I would say is, and I'll speak for myself here, but having enough clients that work in the corporate space and speaking to so many others that have left since, it can be really, really hard to separate yourself and not, quote unquote, perform the way everybody else is, having those extra drinks, staying out super late, whatever it's looking like, or choosing to go, period. And there were many, many times that I thought I had to show up, otherwise my job was on the line. And here's the thing. It is not. It is not really. I think that that's a false belief.
It's a false narrative.
Yeah. And do you have to show up sometimes? Sure. Do you have to show up for part of it? Maybe. But I think that the rules are more flexible than we've allowed ourselves to believe.
Yes.
And when it comes back to that circle, it's who you're going to these events with, or the people, your colleagues or your clients or other people in the industry. And you will then be more like those individuals the more time you spend together. And so if they're showing up and everybody's getting wasted and everybody's staying out super late, and that's just like the company culture, you are going to behave more and more like that and be in that environment that is not supportive. And so to me, that was a red flag to step away. And guess what? You can change companies. You can move around. You can find a different place that fits your lifestyle, that supports who you want to be and how you want to live. It doesn't have to be in this one mold.
That's right. Jordana and I have left our old worlds and moved into one that does align more with who we want to be. But at the very least, you can still have that supportive circle that lifts you higher to balance out. So even if you can't leave your job, if you can't necessarily change the circumstance, you can do your best to set boundaries where you are, but you can have an arsenal of women behind you, also known as Get Sculpted, who will support you and lift you up. So it kind of provides that healthy balance.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. We've all been in an environment, I think, where, like you said, the situation is not conducive to who you want to align yourself with. And this is when you have to kind of actively create that circle for yourself. So I think that this is actually the perfect segue, which is one of my favorite points that I like to make. Until you don't have your own belief, or until you don't really see that clear vision for yourself, you can borrow someone else's.
Definitely.
So here's the benefit of aligning yourself with people who think bigger, who in the fitness space, for example, they have maybe done a photo shoot, or they've done like a fitness competition, or they're crushing like heavy lifts. They're further along in their journey. That's going to show you what is possible in the future, and really like bringing it to a level that feels attainable for you, right? Like it's in your very own community. It's not just these social media influencers that you see. And this is going to call you up. It's going to create that hype for yourself. It's going to call you out on the actions that you need to be taking to create that life for yourself.
That's right.
And it's also going to remind you that, hey, like if I continue on this path that I'm on, like this is the kind of momentum that I'm going to build. And I always say, like, the circle that you're with, it's going to be your mirror. Like if they're encouraging you as well and they're seeing how capable you are, then eventually you're going to see that too.
I love that.
Absolutely.
And this is where, I really want to highlight our community. And a big part of our client success is really the women that are in our Get Sculpted community. And the reason I said earlier that we can really speak to this is because whenever I initially speak to women, they don't even realize that not anyone in their lives right now is on this journey. And like we talked about, that's okay. I'll ask them like, hey, are you kind of on this journey? Like, is anyone in your circle doing this? Well, not really. I'm kind of a lone wolf. And I'm like, okay, this is even more reason to lean into our community that we have on Facebook, because you can lean into their beliefs. Like they've already achieved it, and you're going to be further ahead than some people eventually too. And you can do the same thing for them and pay forward. But you're going to absorb their vibe, their energy, and their habits and their priorities. And this is just going to amplify your own success. So for these types of clients, and to be honest, most of us don't have in real life like 140, 150 people that are into bettering themselves. Like that's the beauty of, I think, of an online community, is that you can actually align yourself just by this common interest, this common endeavor that we have. And I find that the clients who really like lean in and actively participate and give as much as they take, they're the ones getting the most out of the program. Like I'd love if you guys could speak to that.
I totally agree. I think it can be such a difference maker for everyone. Nobody has to do anything alone.
Why bother, right?
Yeah, like it is so much more fun. It's so much more insightful. You get to learn so much more, and you can actually move faster because you are getting to see the success of somebody else, and you get to kind of like get the cheat code on how to actually execute that by learning from someone else's mistakes. And what I often say about our community is that it's the nicest place on the internet, because
it's true.
They will support you. They will be vulnerable with you. They show up for you. A lot of times they will show up in real life. Like we have women that have become great friends with each other, meeting through.
Hello.
Yeah.
The three of us.
That's how the three of us met, is through community. And I think it can be such a powerful, transformative thing. And part of our stress response as women is like attend and befriend. And so when you actually can jump into a community who's ready to welcome you, you're actually going to manage your stress on this journey and the challenges that you're facing so much more smoothly because you have that support in your corner.
Everything's amplified.
Yeah.
I just have to share a quick little story. A newish client to our community, she joined just a couple of weeks ago, posted in the group. She's a little nervous too, but she did. And she just said, hey, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. And of course, as usual, the women in our community stepped up and they welcomed her. And I think within minutes, there was like 20 comments. Anyway, she messaged me, a little sidebar, and she said, I have never in my life been in a group of women who just wants me to succeed, right? Because the other thing too is like, she's like, I've felt a lot of competition. I felt a lot of criticism, but she just couldn't believe how many and how quickly these women were ready to just step in and be like, I'm so happy for you. Good for you. There was nothing but enthusiasm. She just said, I've never, in my almost 50 years of living, I have never had a group of women support me like that. And at this point, they are strangers because she just joined. And I said to her, you just wait.
Yeah.
Some of these women will become your closest friends, your most trusted confidants. They really will. So I'm very proud of our community.
And that's the coolest part when we get together for a live event or a photo shoot experience and then go for dinner afterwards. It's like we've known each other for decades and it was just a little while since we last hung out. It is so cool.
Or you meet someone for the first time and go, wait, this is the first time we're meeting in person, because you feel like you've known them forever. It's actually hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like I forget sometimes. I'm like, is this our first time meeting in person? Like, I feel like I know you. It's crazy, like meeting clients who like, oh, I worked with you for like 5 years and I know the ins and outs of everything.
I know. It's pretty special.
It is. So I think I kind of want to like tie this all in with, you have to be intentional about creating the circle for yourself. Maybe change the flavor of the relationships that might not be serving you as well. And consider how you can take an active role here in surrounding yourself with the right people. You know, if you're someone who has said, I'm not really a big community person and you're doing things in isolation, I always ask people, like, how is that working out for you?
Yeah.
If you haven't surrounded yourself with the right environment, this is exactly why you've been stuck. So what I want you to know is if you're serious about transforming your body and your fitness and your life, then you need to stop doing that in isolation. You need to stop thinking that this is a solo sport here. You need to look at the people in your life who you're most aligned with. And if they are not sharing the same vision that you have for yourself, then it's time to create new relationships.
Totally agree.
Yes. And I think you can all join me in saying that if you're listening and don't have the circle yet for yourself, we have built our Get Sculpted community, and we share this from a place of genuinely knowing that it is the nicest place on the internet. It's not just
not lip service.
Yeah, it's not a lip service, but it's not a pitch.
Yeah. It's the real deal.
Exactly. Because we know that it's going to better your life just like it has other women.
And ours.
And ours. Exactly. All right. Anything else that you guys would add to close us out here?
I think you covered every single thing, T. Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone. You don't have to.
Perfect. If you found this helpful and if you want to inspire someone else in your life, if you had a big aha moment, please share this episode. We appreciate all your shares. The more that you tag us and bring others to our episode, the more women just like yourself can get this message in their ears as well. And we have another really exciting message coming for you in the next episode, which is all about the perfectionist trap and why it's keeping you stuck. That one's with Coach Mare as a solo episode. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, this was a good one, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Get Sculpted. We hope you feel inspired, empowered, and ready to take the next step in your fitness journey. Remember, building your 2.0 body is a unique journey for you. It's about showing up for yourself consistently and not being perfect.
If you loved today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a review and tag us on social at getsculpted.ca. Your feedback helps us reach more women like you who are ready to cut through the noise and make lasting changes.
For more daily tips, inspiration, and behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram and check out our handles in the show notes below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Get Sculpted. Until then, remember this: getting sculpted isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter.